flame inside your heart. See every finish line before you reach the start. Raise your fist to the sky. Lightning and mountaintops are made for you and I. Morning comes when the nightfall goes. Don't turn back to the road below. Bring on the fire, bring on the rain. Nothing can take you down. Crashing like thunder, steel in your veins. Nothing can take you down. Bring on the fire, bring on the rain. Nothing can take you down. Crashing like thunder, steel in your veins. Nothing can take you down. Nothing can take you down. Be what you wanna be. Do what you wanna do. And if it sets you free, believe in only you. Yesterday is gone. Forget about tomorrow and the ceilings you see right through. Find the moment and make it. Write your headline and raise it to the sky. No one else can create it. Take your banner and raise it to the sky.
Good morning. My name is Myro Apoise Simpson, and it is my honor on behalf of the Board of Trustees to welcome you to this celebration of the class of 2022. I am joined on stage by fellow trustees Buster Wright, Robert Swarthout, and Pat Jackson, who is also president of the Alumni Council, so you will be hearing from her later. Graduates, your journey to this moment has been interesting to say the least. Oh, the stories you will tell your children, grandchildren, nieces, and nephews of how you braved and persevered a whole pandemic that no one expected in this lifetime to join the thousands before you who are proud to be called alumni. We have much to celebrate today and much for which we can be grateful. So before we go any further, I'd like all family members, friends, roommates, and supporters to please stand so the class of 2022 can loudly show its appreciation and gratitude for all you've done for them. Thank you. Please be seated. I've read some of the social media posts that you all have written, thanking and acknowledging the Berry faculty and staff for their commitment to you. Would you, faculty and staff, please stand so we can show our appreciation and gratitude for your dedication to our graduates. Thank you. Please be seated. 25 years ago, I sat in your seat. That makes this moment that much more special as we, your families, your friends, representatives of the administration, and our esteemed faculty and staff gather here today to recognize your hard work and accomplishments and to witness you receiving your diplomas, which serve as tangible proof of completion of your courses of study. Unlike other diplomas, yours represents completion of an education of heart and hands in addition to that of the head. Our founder created a unique philosophy of education, and the members of the faculty, the administrators, and the alumni who followed her have carried on that timeless mission, enhanced it, and now we give it to you, the newest members of our extended family. As with your fellow alumni, you too will leave this place and hopefully put all that you have learned here into action in the lives that you live, always remembering to leave people and communities better than you found them. Over time, you will add value to the diplomas, not the other way around, awarded here as you become living legacies of this Berry family. You have completed this leg of your journey. The next part of your life's journey is the beginning of a brand new story where you will live out the charge of not to be ministered unto, but to minister. From the Board of Trustees to each of you, congratulations, and may God bless and keep you. Now, to formally begin this ceremony appropriately, I will ask our chaplain, Reverend Dr. Jonathan Huggins, to lead us in an opening prayer, followed by the scripture reading by your senior class president, Benjamin Isaiah Stillwell.
Good morning. Let's pray together. Our gracious God, we come to you with grateful hearts this morning. Only you know the path of life that's brought each person here. And we thank you for directing our steps and intersecting our lives for this brief but shining time. These past few years have been very challenging in some unique ways for these students and their families. We pray that in your mercy, you would continue to strengthen and sustain each one. Even so, these students have been shaped by those challenges and opportunities into the people they are today. Please use the wisdom they have gained as a blessing for others. May they always listen for the whisper of your grace as they move through life. May they always use their vocations to encourage others to live in peace and create a world in which there is goodness, truth, and justice. May they find inspiration in the beauty of your creation and in your holy word. Thank you, Lord, for this college, for the faculty and staff, as well as each student's family network, who have given of themselves to help these students succeed through their teaching, mentoring, and working diligently behind the scenes to meet their needs and keep them on track. May we never waste or take for granted the gracious gift of life. Please bless these students, Lord, their family, their friends, their work, their future ideas. These things I pray in the name of the one who came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, Jesus Christ, my Lord. Amen.
Psalm 121. I will lift up my eyes unto the heavens, from whence my help cometh from. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He keepeth thee, and will not slumber. Behold, he keepeth thee, Israel, and shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forward, even forevermore.
So, graduating seniors, class of 2022. This is your day, collectively and individually. Family, friends, faculty and staff, members of the Board of Trustees, our distinguished speaker, we are all here to bask with you in this moment of culmination and conclusion. It's an ending, but it's also a beginning. It's commencement. And speaking of beginnings, can you remember back to August 15th, 2018? That's the day many of you arrived here at Berry for your adventure. The Berry bellhops were right there to greet you and your piles of belongings. And what an eventful journey it has been ever since. It has been unpredictable right to the end. Who knew if your graduation robes would arrive in time? Who knew what damage the winds would inflict yesterday? Who knew if it would be raining this morning? But here it is, atypically cool and refreshing in May. How special is that? So as a side note, let me pause to thank Mitch Davis and the Berry Grounds crew for their heroic efforts yesterday. And you should know, she'll be embarrassed, but you should know that first-year student Alexis Mitchell was out here last night until dark, picking up hundreds of chairs that had blown over yesterday. Be Berry, Alexis. We have long joked about the Berry bubble. In these past 2 years, we have come to appreciate its value, even as we have pointed to its weaknesses and endured its confines. Remember that Berry has been a bubble in the best sense, for you created and have enjoyed a caring and tight-knit community, a community of belonging these last 4 years. Your relationships grew deep as your lives intersected and overlapped in so many ways. So in the years ahead, it will be difficult to recreate the intensity of this experience, this 24/7 community of peers, all sharing the same season of life. Today, the bubble bursts, and you will shoot out in all sorts of directions as you commence your adult lives. So where will this outburst take you? Humor me for about 8 minutes as we answer that question. Almost 90% of May graduates have provided us with information about your first destination. By way of overview, 31% of you will pursue graduate studies, 55 of you have a first job lined up, and 14 are in the job search process, including a few who hope to take an extended break, maybe even a gap year. So let me begin by saying that all of us are mindful of the toll that the pandemic took on our communities this last year. Some professions were more profoundly affected than others. I want to recognize first 32 nursing graduates. Who will leave to strengthen our communities. More than half will serve here in Georgia. Madison at Emory Midtown, and Ilana at Children's Medical in Atlanta. 8 others are headed to Northside and Piedmont Medical Centers. 5 will be at Erlanger Medical Center in Chattanooga. 6 will serve at Atrium and Advent right here in Rome. Ashlyn, Ansley, Taylor, Emma, Caitlin, and Joy. Grace and Anna are going to Knoxville, and Kendall to Nashville. Eliana will serve in Austin, Texas, and Leah in Reno, Nevada. I'm also pleased to recognize 25 students who will teach next year, a vital but increasingly difficult profession. Most of them also will be here in Georgia. Cameron, Zach, and Alexander will teach high school physics. Catherine and Joshua, mathematics. Chloe and Stephen, biology. Caitlin, Brennan, Nathania, Heather, Amelia will teach English, and Madeline, Spanish. Caleb will teach history. Nolan and Julia will teach music. Trevor and Colton will teach middle school. Bless them. Anna, Ashley, and Alyssa will teach elementary school here in Rome. Lily, Carly, Maggie, Kennedy, Sarah, Jasmine, and Abigail at other towns in Georgia. Lily will move to Knoxville. Anna to Birmingham, Alabama. And then there is Claire, who will teach English in Madrid, Spain. Our business graduates are also off to a good start. Devin will work as an accountant with Georgia Pacific. Alexis with Norfolk Southern, Rowan with Enterprise, and Carly at OTR Wheel here in Rome. Colin is the controller of Brown Carthage Company. Taylor, William, Joseph, Jonathan, McKenna, and Ben will work as financial advisors. Asa is joining Homerick Berg and his associate, and Kimberly as a risk control consultant for Liberty Mutual. Noah will work in medical scales with J&J, Parker with solar team sales, and Bailey has a job with BitBoy Crypto. Riley will work software engineer, Braden as a manufacturing engineer, Jeffrey as a product developer in Baltimore, as we used to call it when I grew up there. Michael as a UX designer for Silicon Mountain Technologies in Denver, and Ryan as a machinist for Delta Airlines. Madeline, a content manager at the Darlington School. Savannah, a product marketing manager in Austin, Texas. Judson will serve as an environmental health specialist. Grace as a wilderness steward. Avery and Wiley have positions as registered behavior technicians. Lauren will work at the CDC as a diagnostician. Sarah has an internship with the Southeast Zoo Alliance. Leah will work as an animal care assistant in Nashville Zoo. Marshall will work with wetland monitoring in Reno, Nevada. Sarah Esser will work at the Fossil Rim Wildlife Center in Texas. Jansen, Charles, and Sally in medical rehabilitation. David has a position with intranerve neuroscience in Memphis. Tara and Hannah have positions with Disney in Orlando. Noah and Natalie will join Chick-fil-A's Leadership Development Program. Marilyn will work with AmeriCorps in Connecticut. Several graduates will join ministry organizations. Danae with Vision International. Vanessa as a Jesuit volunteer. Jansen, Margaret, Sarah, and Anthony with WindShape. Bethany with InterVarsity. And Michael with Campus Outreach in Birmingham, England. England, not Alabama. And great for us, 2 graduates have already accepted employment here at Berry. Matthew in photography and videography, and Allie as the event support manager in IT. Whew. But I'm not done. Another 80 of you are headed for advanced graduate and professional education, including 28 seeking doctoral degrees. The highest percentage of doctoral study involves graduates in chemistry and biochemistry. Seth will pursue a PhD at the Scripps Research Institute in Florida. Dylan at Vanderbilt University. Claudia and Marissa at Purdue, and Juan at Florida State. Eva and Christian will study medicine at Mercer University. Mason, osteopathic medicine. Lisa, chiropractic medicine. Christian will study dentistry in Augusta. 9 students have been accepted to veterinary medicine programs. Havana, Kelsey, and Devin at UGA. Raven, Bethany, Sarah, and Charlotte at Auburn. Victoria at Florida. Marley's at LSU, and Faith at St. George's. Peter is pursuing a PhD in physics at Duke. Catherine will be at Duke as well for her doctorate in physical therapy. Andrea, Sydney, and Emily will also study physical therapy, and Lindsay occupational therapy. James and Lauren will seek law degrees at the University of Tennessee, and Luke at the University of Mississippi. 17 students are pursuing masters in health-related professions. William in public health at Brown University. Emily, forensic science at Towson University. Kristen and Maggie, speech-language pathology in Memphis and in Boston. 6 students are pursuing masters in clinical mental health. Leslie will study forensic mental health at Roger Williams. Caitlin, Haley, and Sarah will study social work. Caitlin with a K, athletic training. Caitlin with a C, physician's assistant. Ashlyn will study language development at Vanderbilt. Others will study business. Isabel at Wake Forest for business analytics. Lynette at, I probably messed that up, at Georgia State in data science and analytics, and Johannes to Emory in analytical science. Christopher and Skylar, industrial organization at Auburn, and Haley, IO at the University of Tennessee. 7 students will stay here at Berry for their MBAs. Erica will study higher education at the University of Connecticut, and Cheryl at Georgia Southern. Almost done. Then there are those headed in more exotic directions. Kyla will attend the University of York in England for medieval literature. Catherine at the University of Leeds for medieval studies. They're about 30 miles apart, just so you have that in your geographic reference. Emily and Kaylee will both attend the University of Glasgow in Scotland. One for dramaturgy and playwriting, the other for museum studies. Ariana will also pursue museum studies at the University of South Dakota. Vanessa, communication and forensics at Minnesota State. Let me close with a few where people are following their hearts in distinctive ways. William will be commissioned as an officer in the Army, and James as an officer in the Marines. Alice will study classical guitar at Georgia State. Faith will work in entertainment marketing with the Classic Center in Athens. Sydney and Zoe have internships with the head of production at Trilith Studios, south of Atlanta. That's where they make all of the Marvel movies. It's a really cool place. Sarah is headed to Oslo, Norway. Gretchen will be an au pair in Madrid. Sydney will attend the University of Ruhr in Germany to study theoretical philosophy. Jasmine will be a wildlife rehabilitator in Morro Bay, California. Colleen will serve at a wildlife sanctuary in Hubert, North Carolina. Harley will work as a fire logistics dispatcher in Moose, Wyoming. Jason is working as a groundskeeper for the Atlanta Braves. Go Braves. Lillian is a healthcare coordinator for the Kodiak Area Native Association in Kodiak, Alaska. And Hallie as a ranch wrangler in Granby, Colorado at the Sea Lazy U Ranch. And you need to check the web out. It's a very cool site. So class of 2022, off you go in a dazzling fashion in these many pursuits. We wish you every success. And to you fellow parents here today, congratulations. It's what we all hope for in this moment, even though it's hard to absorb. They really are ready, and they're headed to great starts near and far. Graduates, in a few minutes, I will confer on you degrees with all of the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto. Today, you join a privileged minority. It is still the case that only 1/3 of adults in the U.S. earn a college degree. A college degree results in higher status, higher salaries, more taxes paid, you're good for the economy, better physical health, better mental health, better education for your children, and a better quality of life. These are some of the privileges of your degree. I urge you not to take them for granted. Please remember that obligations come with these benefits. As hard as you worked for your degree, others have helped make it possible. Others laid the foundation for your success. Others paved the way. You are privileged to live in circumstances that have made your education possible. You have had opportunities that many never will. So accept your education as a wonderful gift and a welcome obligation. Use your education to become great at what you do, but as importantly, use your education to improve the places where you will live, work, and serve. And as you leave this beautiful place, remember that you have left Barry better than you found it. You made it a great place by meeting each other's needs well. Don't expect to recreate a bubble like Barry in future years, but wherever you are headed next, make it your goal, your purpose, to be the person who makes that place better. Care for the people of that place. Be ambitious in this way and take to heart these memorable words from, of course, Martha Berry. The pursuit of easy things makes us weak. It's the pursuit of difficult things that make us strong. Class of 2022, my cap is off to you. By all means, use well the gift of your education, and may God bless you in the years to come.
is my pleasure to introduce our student commencement speaker this morning. Alexander Dalton comes from Knoxville, Tennessee. He is graduating today with a Bachelor of Science, majoring in accounting and finance, and is a summa cum laude graduate with a 4.0 GPA average. Alex has excelled in academics, work, and service while at Berry. Alex entered Berry as a football player for 2 seasons, has been an accountant for enterprise development, and helped the shipyard develop its accounting procedures. Alex served as treasurer of the Berry Accounting Association, vice president of the Berry Investment Group, as well as assisted in establishing the Berry Cryptocurrency and Blockchain Association. He was a member of the financial literacy team, which equips freshmen with budget and credit card management skills. He is a member of Sigma Delta Pi and served as the treasurer for the club. Alex has been inducted into Beta Gamma Sigma and Phi Kappa Phi. He is a recipient of the Stephen J. Cage Premier Business Scholar Award, as well as the recipient of the Georgia Society of Public Accountants Award. Alexander truly lives out our mission of integrating the head, the heart, and the hands. Following graduation, Alex will be moving back to Knoxville to pursue a career in insurance and investment at New York Life. Please join me in welcoming our student commencement speaker, Alexander Clay Dalton.
I'll start off with a picture. Let me begin by first stating that I'm both honored and humbled to be speaking at such an important event. An important event not only to the people in caps and gowns, but to the people in the audience as well. The support given by each member in the crowd has helped us get to the finish line, and I'm glad that the results of your continued efforts and support have come to fruition. Last Monday, I took the last undergraduate class of my life. Having had 2 presentations that day, and wanting to soak in the feeling of being done, I drove back to my apartment and laid down to decompress. Approximately 2 minutes after I began to doze off, I received a call from a phone number in Rome, Georgia, so I answered it, and it was Dean Taylor. She prefaced it by saying, "This is a good phone call." However, she then told me to sit down so I could brace myself. I told her I had already had her beat. I was laying down. That one's for the people who know me. As she began to explain to me the process that turned into me standing up here today, 18-year-old introverted Alex began to resurface. I could play sports in front of countless people, but I was not confident enough in myself to talk in front of 10. However, I realized that the experiences that I had had at Berry had changed me, morphed me into a more confident and comfortable person. It must be something in the Chick-fil-A here. On a more serious note, to the families and friends of our graduates, thank you for being here today to celebrate this special occasion. To my fellow classmates, congratulations. Let's give them a round of applause. My fellow graduates, I will bet that a myriad of emotions are running through your brain right now. Fear, excitement, joy, anxiety, and many more. And those are only natural. But what causes us to feel that way? I believe that the common factor behind all of those emotions, both good and bad, is the unknown. It is that which we don't know that scares us, but piques our curiosity. It is that which we don't know that keeps us up late one night, but wakes us up early another morning, for we do not know what the day may bring. It is the uncertainty of our futures that scare us, but the possibilities are equally as exciting. And I am here to tell you that it is okay that you don't know things. I'm confident that every person who walks across this stage today is well educated, is a wealth of knowledge, and will do well in life. However, I'm even more confident that not a single person that walks across this stage today, heck, even on this massive campus right now, has it all figured out. The acknowledgement and acceptance that we, as 21 and 22-year-olds, simply cannot have all the pieces to the puzzle right now will help alleviate those emotions caused by the unknown. The people here supporting you will not just cease their support. As we traverse through the unknowns of life, I am confident that those surrounding us will continue to be great resources to help us figure out this life thing. They care about us. I know they do because it's windy, early, and for some, it was a really long drive to get here. And I also know it to be true because they have all made sacrifices in some form or another for us to attend Berry College. If nothing else from my speech today sticks, please remember to say thank you to your family and friends. I also think the Berry community in general is a very caring place. Whenever someone asks me to describe Berry, I start by mentioning that it has the biggest campus in the world, because what else would I start with? I also tell them that everyone, students, faculty, and staff alike, care. Everyone that I have interacted with in my 4 years here is intentional about their passions and how they treat others. I want to tell 2 brief stories about my exposure to care and compassion on this campus. During orientation, I decided that I wanted to both switch majors and add a minor. There was initial confusion around my course schedule, and I was uncertain that it was going to work out well. As I was about to walk into the registrar's office, Associate Provost David Slade saw my visible concern and approached me. He then sat down with me and my parents and helped us craft a more viable course schedule, as well as taking me into his BCC class to continue his direct guidance. It was after I had turned in my schedule that I realized that he was late to a speaking event during orientation, all to be intentional with helping one student figure out their first semester in college. If you knew me at the onset of COVID, the second story might sound familiar to you. About 2 or 3 weeks after COVID interrupted our spring semester of 2020, my brother Patrick got extremely sick. It was the most uncertain time in my life. In total, he spent about a month and a half in the hospital and was on life support for a majority of it. Many friends and teachers reached out to me, asking for updates and giving support. However, there are 2 people in particular whose continued support stuck out the most to me. The first was the support of Coach Konchesky, the head football coach of a team from which I had retired a semester before, and the second was Dr. Frank Stevenson, whom I do not think I had ever met in person at that point. Both men had no direct obligation to check in on me as much as they did, but serving as leaders of Berry, they went above and beyond in their continued support. The tone starts at the top, and I'm confident that the support and care from the Berry community will last for as long as we live. And if we are able to make it through such an event as COVID, we can certainly weather the storms of life that will come our way. I will end with one of my favorite verses, one that has allowed me to fight through some of the hardest times in my life. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." And for another quote regarding uncertainty, a wise man named Benjamin Franklin once said, "In this world, nothing is certain but death and taxes." We must keep these things in mind, for it is on our Creator that we must depend in times of uncertainty. But let me make an amendment to Franklin's quote. Nothing is certain but death, taxes, and the Berry College class of 2022 finding success. Go forth and do great things, and please know that you have support through the unknown. And when you begin to get a handle on life, perpetuate the same atmosphere of care and compassion by offering such to those around you. And lastly, congratulations, you have earned this. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Well done for an accountant. You even had an accounting joke there at the end. We like that. So. I'm thrilled to introduce our commencement speaker today. In the midst of the COVID pandemic, I was always grateful to have been here at Berry for more than a dozen years. I can only imagine how difficult it was for a new president in that moment. Our speaker today, Carol Tomé, accepted that challenge in 2020 when she became the Chief Executive Officer of UPS, the United Parcel Service, in the very early stages of the pandemic. Talk about a challenge. UPS delivers 25 million packages every day around the globe, serving 220 countries and territories with over 530,000 employees. Prior to joining UPS, Carol worked at Home Depot for 24 years and served as its Chief Financial Officer and Executive Vice President. Mrs. Tomé is a highly accomplished business leader, As noted in your program, she's also actively engaged in a variety of community affairs, but she also has roots that are very Barry-like. Carol was born in a log cabin hospital in Jackson, Wyoming. In describing her growing up years, she writes, "I had the most amazing childhood because my parents taught me to basically live off the land. I was taught to hunt and fish and cook and sew and do everything possible in the outdoor world. It's also a great skiing community, and my dad put me on skis when I was 2 years old. I would go on cattle rides, and when the calves were born in the spring, we would brand the calves and dehorn the calves. It was an amazing, amazing, very Barry-like childhood. The best part of it actually was what my parents and my grandmothers taught me. They told me that I could do anything and be anything that I wanted, and I believed them. So Carol, we hope our expansive campus, our love for this place and its natural beauty, our emphasis on student engagement in the work of the college makes you feel right at home. Carol went on to earn a bachelor's degree in communication from the University of Wyoming and a master's degree in finance from the University of Denver. So, graduates of 2020, pop quiz, your commencement pop quiz. Bonus points for anyone who knows, not the faculty, just the students. Which member of our faculty earned an undergraduate degree from the University of Wyoming? No takers, okay. Carol spends her, ask me afterwards, I will tell you. We'll go see your faculty in the history department. Carol spends her free time on her farm in North Georgia. She is an avid gardener, and like many of us seated here, is into Wordle. And Quirtle and Quirtle? I do like, all right. So please join me in welcoming Carol Tomei to the Barry Commencement platform.
Well, good morning, everyone, and President Briggs, thank you for that kind introduction. Congratulations to the 2022 graduates. I am so honored to join you and your loved ones on this special day. And what a gift to gather here on this stunningly beautiful campus. I don't know about you, but I will never again take for granted these moments of normalcy, these moments of community, these moments when we simply come together to celebrate one another. We have grappled with so many challenges these past years: a global pandemic, political unrest, social unrest, a lack of trust in our central institutions, and now a raging war in Eastern Europe. There is constant uncertainty about what each day will bring. And I can't imagine what it's been like to be a student over the past couple of years. But to the graduating class, by being here today, you have shown true resilience. You've earned this moment, and you all should be very proud. Now, I'd like to give a special shout out to the first generation graduates here today. Nearly 1 in 5 of you are the first in your family to graduate from college. You are trailblazers. You are change makers. Well done. I also want to give a shout out to Barry alumni. For the record, UPS has several hardworking Barry graduates doing wonderful things for our company in positions ranging from information architect manager to hub supervisor and more. UPS loves Barry grads. As I thought about this address, I considered many topics. I could talk to you about my career journey and the lessons I learned along the way. I could share with you pieces of wisdom that I wished I would have known when I graduated from college. Or I could talk to you about the disappointments that you will face as you begin the next chapter of your lives. But today, I'd like to talk to you about something that's much more important than all that. I want to ask you a question. Here's the question. What is your why? Now, as you think about that, I'll tell you about my why. For many years, my why was pretty straightforward. I worked really hard. Regardless of the challenge or the assignment, I would outwork anybody in the room. I worked hard. That was my mission. That was my why. And to be clear, there's nothing wrong with that. But over the years, I learned that my fixation on hard work alone was insufficient. That was what I did. It wasn't my why. So one morning years ago, I woke up and looked at myself in the mirror, and I asked myself a question. Carol, what is your tombstone going to read? Now, that's an interesting question, as I'm going to be cremated, so I won't have a tombstone. But you get my drift, right? I was asking myself about purpose. And I thought long and hard, and I realized it would read, she worked hard. I was horrified by that. I thought, oh no, that can't be my purpose. That can't be my why. So I reflected on this tombstone question some more and realized I wanted it to read, she made a difference in my life. After declaring my purpose, it changed me. It changed how I interacted with my coworkers, with my spouse, with my community, with God. It changed me for good. My purpose statement carried me for years until I retired. And then 2 years ago, I came out of retirement and joined UPS as CEO. As a company, we knew what we did. We deliver billions of packages every year in 220 countries and territories around the world. But we hadn't declared our why. So we put together a cross-functional team, and they developed the UPS why. Here it is: moving our world forward by delivering what matters. I love our why. You can unpack it in so many ways. It's not just about moving goods, but doing good too. I hear stories nearly every day about UPSers going to the ends of the earth to track down a missing package, or saving lives, rescuing somebody from a burning building, or tending to a stranger during a medical emergency. UPSers are heroes and sheroes. They inspire me every day. They move our world forward by delivering what matters. And as UPSers were defining our why, I realized my why, she made a difference. Well, it really didn't describe my purpose. I started to ask myself a lot of questions. Questions like, why did I come out of retirement? Why did I take a CEO role? Why am I here? And after some soul searching and some self-reflection, I finally found my true why, which I'll share with you now. Lead to inspire, serve to create, give to remain. I'm blessed to lead a company like UPS, but the truth is the past 2 years have been really hard for our team. UPSers are essential workers. During the pandemic, they didn't work from home. They got up every day and sorted and delivered packages with volumes that reached unprecedented levels. I believe I was called to lead this company to inspire our workers, to support them in their efforts, to celebrate them. I lead to inspire our people. That's why I get out of bed every morning. Now on to the second part of my purpose statement, serve to create. I believe any good leader has a servant's heart, always putting those around them first in everything they do. For me, serving to create is about investing in people so they can reach their highest potential, whatever it is. I'm so proud of the people that I've invested in, people who work for me who are now CFOs of publicly traded companies, people who have worked for me who are now CEOs of publicly traded companies. Investing in someone's development to help them reach their highest potential, putting them before yourself, is a joy. Serving to create is also meeting an unmet need, much like Martha Berry did when she founded the Berry Schools. Martha filled an unmet need by providing education for many children of the rural South. Martha was a trailblazer, and a true servant leader. She served to create, and I think that's my purpose too. The third part of my purpose statement is give to remain. I hope you've all seen Hamilton. It's a fantastic musical. At UPS, we recently had the privilege of hosting Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creator of Hamilton, and I got to interview him. It was really cool. And one of the lyrics that he wrote that really resonates with me is this: when you are gone, who remembers your name? Who keeps your flame? Who tells your story? Think about Martha Berry. We are still telling her story. That's because she gave to others above everything else. A spirit of giving transcends time. It transforms lives. It lights the way for the next generation. I give of my time, I give of my money, I give to remain, so someone will tell my story. Who will tell your story? As you prepare to graduate from Berry College, if you haven't already done so, find your why. Let your why serve as your North Star in everything you do. The rest will take care of itself. As Lewis Carroll said in Alice in Wonderland, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Your why, your purpose will take you to your destination. And you may ask, well, how do I tap into my why? I don't know where to start. The answer, I believe, lies in something that Maya Angelou, a personal shiro of mine, said. She said, don't make money your goal. Instead, pursue the things that you love doing, and then do them so well that people can't take their eyes off of you. All of our eyes are on this graduating class. Your futures are so bright. It's impossible for us to take our eyes off of you. And one more thing about purpose. Most college graduates devote their greatest efforts to shaping their work lives. But the most important decision you'll make is not where you work, but who you choose to partner with the rest of your life. A good partner magnifies the shine of life. I know this to be true. I've been married to my husband, Ramon, for 38 years. He's a true partner, and marrying him was the best decision I ever made. Lead to inspire, serve to create, give to remain. That's my purpose. What's yours? When you answer that question, your life will never be the same, and someone will be telling your story. Thank you to the Berry College leadership team. Thank you to the parents and friends of today's graduates. And thank you, graduates, for the honor of speaking to you today. Godspeed, and God bless you all.
Carol, thank you for caring, and thank you for sharing the wisdom of why. And I appreciate also your passion for first-generation students, your passion for our environment, and all that you do to contribute in those ways as well. So thank you very much. Okay. I think if you look in your programs, we have gotten to the moment you really have been waiting for this whole time, right? So we know. We just have to drag it out a little bit to enjoy our part of this. So we will begin with a presentation of diplomas. Let's see, I guess, why don't you do your part of the announcement, then I'll add a few words to that. This is sort of the ground rules for today. Here we go.
We know many of the guests are very excited to be here and want to take pictures of their graduates. We have a number of photographers and videographers who are here But if you also want to take your very own photos, please be sure not to obstruct the view of other people, not to interrupt wherever the photographers are. And those wearing medallions, the graduates, are members of the Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society. All have been approved by special vote of the faculty.
As you come across the stage to receive your diploma today, we invite the families to stand and cheer while your students are coming along. We love to see who you are as well and enjoy your moment of sunshine, maybe, but your moment in the sun. I would say this is not a moment for competitive cheering. Okay, this is just fun cheering, all right? So, Provost Boyd.
The candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree, please rise. President Briggs, these students have completed all requirements for the Bachelor of Arts degree at Berry College and have been recommended by the faculty. They are now ready to have the degree conferred.
Waiting for the flags to get all lined up here, so.
Flag
We good?
readjustment.
All right. Are you ready? Okay. No, can't, not yet. I'm dragging this out. So, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Berry College, I pronounce you graduates of Berry College and confer upon you all of the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto. Now, please come forward and receive your diplomas.
Shanice Brienne Amos. Hannah Gabrielle Arthur, magna cum laude. Erica Itzel Buceres Gutierrez, magna cum laude. Vanessa Renee Belanger, with honors, summa cum laude. Ross Lee Harrison Bryant. Malia Noel Busanitz, magna cum laude. Lillian Francis Calhoun, with honors, summa cum laude. Alexandra Catherine Carpenter. Christian Ray Castile, double degree, also receiving the degree Bachelor of Science, magna cum laude. Lauren Nicole Kaler, magna cum laude. Seth Colville Pierce Chambliss, magna cum laude. Faith Annalise Choate. Riley Elizabeth Clark, with honors, magna cum laude. Brenda James Corbett, cum laude. Hannah Taylor Corley. Natanya Victoria Cortez. Ashlyn Faith Cox. Caleb Robert Dallamore. Luke Donald Edney. Haley Morgan Ewald, magna cum laude. Charlotte Terrar Foster. Vanessa Internet Fowler. Madeline Grace Fox, cum laude. Margaret Lorraine High School, with honors, summa cum laude. Catherine Elizabeth Henrich, with honors, summa cum laude. Isabel Kate Hill. Kyla Christine Hill. Caitlin Celeste Horn, magna cum laude. Johanna Lynn Huber. Kristen Bailey Hunt. Noah Robert Hill Isherwood, with honors, cum laude. Emily Ann Keller. Shavana Sean Kelly. Joseph Edward Lewis. Carly Danielle Little, cum laude. Jessie Lynn Locke, summa cum laude. Raquel Rebecca Luna. Catherine Margaret Mavs, cum laude. Sydney Jaylyn Maddox. Kendra Michelle Martin. Matthew Jacob McConnell, diploma presented by his mother, Marcia McConnell, Director of Scholarships and New Student Financial Aid. Sydney Jade McKee. Sarah Esther Mary, cum laude. Joseph Andrew Miller, diploma presented by his mother, Laura Miller, admissions counselor. Michaela Ann Miller, cum laude. Sydney Blake Munoz, with honors, cum laude. Hunter Lynn Paget. Benjamin Lee Prescott. Christopher Jacob Pritchett. Bethany Ann Ritter, with honors, summa cum laude. Denny Dorian Rivera. Zoe Marie Robinson. Hannah Elise Runner, magna cum laude. Anna Noel Salisbury. Brennan Lyle Soche, summa cum laude. Emily Wyatt Saunders, cum laude. Kendall Diane Scott, cum laude. Mary Banks Shalander. Rachel Michelle Seiler. Jason Matthew Slaughter, cum laude. Brandon Antonio Spencer. Madeline Grace Sprayberry, summa cum laude. Michaela Catherine Stansberry, magna cum laude. Alyssa Mae Stevens. Anthony Wayne Studstill, summa cum laude. Hallie Kate Teague, with honors, summa cum laude. Heather Ann Thompson, cum laude. Cameron Elizabeth Kidsworth, with honors, summa cum laude. Leah Jolie Toussaint, cum laude. Isabella Marie Triggs, summa cum laude. Graham David Troiani, magna cum laude. Kaylee Ann Ulmer, with honors, magna cum laude. Ariana Lynn Van Clay, magna cum laude. Sarah Jane Vest, with honors, cum laude. Mary Grace Von Thron, in absentia. Caroline Rose Wall, with honors, magna cum laude. Samantha Wingo Warner, magna cum laude, in absentia. Sydney Kate Watson, summa cum laude. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Music degree please rise? President Briggs, these students have completed all requirements for the Bachelor of Music degree at Berry College and have been recommended by the faculty. They are now ready to have the degree conferred.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Berry College, I pronounce the 5 of you graduates of Berry College and confer upon you all the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto. Please come forward, accept your degrees.
Nolan Richard Berry. Cheryl Caroline Caicho Mantilla. Alice Geard Johnston, magna cum laude. Julia Shepard Lester, cum laude. Ashlyn Mackenzie Rawson, magna cum laude. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science and Nursing degree please rise? President Briggs, these students have completed all requirements for the Bachelor of Science and Nursing degree at Berry College and have been recommended by the faculty. They are now ready to have the degree conferred.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Berry College, I am privileged to pronounce you graduates of Berry College and confer upon you all the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto. Nurses, please come forward and receive your diplomas.
Ilana Olivia Albert, cum laude. Laura Catherine Byer. Joy G. Young Buckley, cum laude. Madison Grace Cherry, cum laude. Grace Elizabeth Eckstein, magna cum laude. Ansley Elizabeth Felker, cum laude. Emily Page Greason, cum laude. Hannah Kellen Groves. Madden Elizabeth Harris, summa cum laude. Kendall Elizabeth Holan. Megan Nicole Hunt. Miranda Blair Irwin. Ashlyn Elizabeth Ishoy, summa cum laude. Britton Kenzie Johnson. Emmy Margaret Lawless. Holly Bennett Lawson, magna cum laude. Braylon Elizabeth Lindberg, magna cum laude. Taylor Madison McVeigh, summa cum laude. Jared Donnie Ogle. Emma Kathleen O'Haron, magna cum laude. Leah Carol Pugh, cum laude. Courtney Brooke Ray. Taryn Elizabeth Shanahan, cum laude. Ansley Nicole Smith. Eliana Grace Splyko, cum laude. Caitlin Medell Swan. Grace Giselle Taylor. Madison Brianne Thomason, magna cum laude. Pearl Catherine Widman, cum laude. Savannah Ashley Wilkes. Madison Nicole Wisted, summa cum laude. Anna Rose Yancey, magna cum laude. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree please rise? President Briggs, these students have completed all requirements for the Bachelor of Science degree at Berry College and have been recommended by the faculty. They are now ready to have the degree conferred.
There's a bunch of you. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Berry College, I pronounce you, all of y'all, graduates of Berry College, and I confer upon you the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto. Please come forward and receive your diplomas.
Gabriel Marie Agan. Joel Lamar Alcarez. Selena Marie Engel. Victoria Arias. Charles Bailey Armstrong. Anna Danielle Autry. Lauren Marie Bakari, summa cum laude. Elena Ann Baker, with honors, magna cum laude. Judson Thomas Baker, summa cum laude. William Sukasa Bannister, with honors, magna cum laude. Catherine Delaney Batt. Christopher Jacob Bogus. Alexis Gabrielle Bell, in absentia. Jason Frederick Bell. Lisa Renee Bemis, magna cum laude. Cameron J. Bensley, cum laude. Brandon Scott Bentley, summa cum laude, in absentia. Marilyn Bermudez. Morgan Michaela Bickers, magna cum laude. Maggie Elizabeth Blankenship, summa cum laude. Stephen Joshua Boylan. Mallory Hope Bradfield. Kelsey Nicole Brady, cum laude. Cayman Greer Brown. Jennifer Lynn Bunch, magna cum laude. William Colson Burgoyne. Julian Chad Burkett. Dylan Araya Button Jennings. Spirely. James William Cadell, cum laude. Michael Connor Canfield. Marlise Carter, cum laude. Brian Taylor Chamberlain. Kish Amel Chandler. Alyssa Cheyenne Childers, cum laude. Jacob Patrick Shanowski. McKenna Michelle Cooper, magna cum laude. Jacqueline May Cordell. Marshall David Cornell. Kyle Alexander Cosio. Taryn Grace Cox. Riley Curtis Croker, magna cum laude. Hannah Beth Cunningham, cum laude. Alexander Clay Dalton, summa cum laude. Macy Elena Daniel, with honors, magna cum laude. Mackenzie Elaine Darnell, cum laude. Caitlin Zanita Davenport, cum laude. Ashley Marie Domenico. Haley Elizabeth DeSandre. Catherine Grace Doolittle, summa cum laude. Samuel Colt Doster, with honors, magna cum laude. Emily Grace Driscoll, summa cum laude. Caitlin Elizabeth Eaton, magna cum laude. Sydney Alexandra Uddlin, cum laude. Molly Elizabeth Edmondson. Justice James Edwards. Justice James Edwards. Baby Mandy Eldridge, cum laude. Walter Ellard, cum laude, diploma presented by his mother, Charlotte Ellard, coordinator of homeschool submissions. Caleb Jack Enright, cum laude. Helena Ansley Epps, cum laude. Zachary Tyler Ernst, cum laude. Tea Katrina Escarcega, with honors, magna cum laude. Claudia Noel Evans, with honors, magna cum laude. Sarah Emily Falsatelli, with honors. Evan Hugh Fennell. Johannes Fiedler. Ryan Eric Fearley. Taylor Ashley Fight, cum laude. Nathan Lewis Foster. Leslie Grace Fox, with honors. David Garrett Freeman. Alexander Brian Galloway, cum laude. Abigail Ray Gamble. Rogie Frangie Garcia II. Catherine Grace Gardner, summa cum laude. Lindsley Ashlyn Gray, Lindsley, third time. Lindsay Ashlyn Garner, summa cum laude. Caroline Lane Garska. Michael James Gaston, magna cum laude. Yamaya Zipporah Gates. Christian Ronald Jonard, cum laude. Christopher Patrick Gaminer, magna cum laude. Ashley Corinne Golden. David Vernon Gottesman. Caitlin Elaine Gray. Tanner Wilkes Gregory. Devin Jalen Greer. Madeline Elizabeth Grucci, with honors, summa cum laude. Leslie Itzel Gutierrez Castro, magna cum laude. Aiden Michael Hackett. Andrea Hardin Hadaway, summa cum laude. Emily Kate Haddon. Christopher Michael Hale, cum laude. Robert Reynolds Harbor. Thomas Hughes Harlan. Jonathan David Harrison, magna cum laude. Paige Elizabeth Hatcher, in absentia. Kayleen Elizabeth Hylison. Mason Brooks Hemstreet, cum laude. Marissa Elaine Henniger, magna cum laude. Harley Denise Henderson. Juan Eduardo Hernandez. Jasmine Noor Hollander. Hope Hornell, cum laude. Lauren Renee Hovis. Kimberly Dawn Howell. William Helbert Edward Halsey, cum laude. Mary Ashford Hyde. Allison Laura Ivy, summa cum laude. Bethany Catherine Jackson, cum laude. Stephanie Lauren Jacob, with honors, magna cum laude. Peter Robert Jacobson, summa cum laude. Braden Davis Jarvis. Kinley Ann Jeffries. Lillian Faye Patterson Jenkins, with honors, magna cum laude. Levi Blake Johnson. Michael Lloyd Johnson. Vincent Allen Johnson. Charles Seth Jolly, with honors, summa cum laude. Grace Lee Jordan. Emily Ann Kozabowski, magna cum laude. Sarah Ashley Kettler. Alexandria Lynn Kinney. Garrett Matheson Kinsey, cum laude. Stephen Michael Kais, cum laude. Savannah Margaret Clem, summa cum laude. Benjamin Joseph Knight. Heather Renee Kobeck, magna cum laude. Abigail Jacqueline Lackey. Jackson Robert Lambert, cum laude. Jack Douglas Leathers III. Savannah Teton Lee. Dawson Douglas Lensgraf. Anna Elise Lester, summa cum laude. Jasmine Brianna Little, cum laude. Gabrielle Rose Lockard. Kimberly Ann Lowndes, in absentia. Marshall Edward Lynch, cum laude. Matthew John McGill. Letitia Nicole Malinowski. Summer Ann Mashburn, cum laude. Charles Edward Mason IV, cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Mason, with honors, cum laude. Colin Leslie Mathis. Carly Nicole May. Chloe Serena McCord. Samantha Rose McHuiston. Allison Grace McDermott. Isaiah Owen McIlvain, in absentia. Connor Thomas McTeer, in absentia. Alexa Pauline Madour. Ashley Taylor Meeker. Noah Edward Miller. Andrew Marcus Moffat. Kennedy Marie Moore. Karis Joy Morgan, with honors, summa cum laude. James Richard Morrison, with honors, cum laude. Amanda Grace Murray, cum laude. Bailey Elizabeth Nelms, with honors, magna cum laude. Danielle Marie Newton, magna cum laude. Jalen Elizabeth Nora. Andrew Clark Norrid, magna cum laude. Maggie Lynn Knuckles, with honors. Asa Wayne Owens. Skylar Jewel Oxford, magna cum laude. Kendall Page Auger, magna cum laude. Bronson Zachary Lee Pierce, cum laude. Sally Catherine Pierce, summa cum laude. Folsom Cleveland Proctor IV, cum laude. Trevor Lee Proctor, magna cum laude. Eva Franziska Proles, with honors, magna cum laude. Lynette Patterson Quinnen, summa cum laude. Patrick Boyd Quinn, diploma presented by his mother. It's me. Ryan Scott Quinn. Parker Anderson Radford. Connor Stephen Rakes, magna cum laude. Havana Ramsdell. Caitlin Elizabeth Ramsey, magna cum laude. Oakley Anna Reeves Page, summa cum laude, in absentia. Gretchen Crow Reifenberger. Oscar Osvaldo Resendez Chavez. Joseph Mitchell Riggs. Leanna Morgan Ritchie, cum laude. Isabel Celine Rousseau, magna cum laude. Claire Elizabeth Rowan. Anna Grace Rumor, cum laude. Rowan Faye Sandy, cum laude. Devin Douglas Sanders. No, Devin Douglas Saunders. Julia Grace Schneider. Austin Cameron Shriver. Patricia Grace Schumacher. William Rayner Dowd Schurig. Jacob Stephen Seeger, cum laude. Zachary Robert Seymour. Riley Elizabeth Shapiro. Jake Telsey Sheeran. Noah James Sheever, cum laude. Carly Brooke Silvers, cum laude. JC Michelle Simpson, in absentia. Amari Simone Slack, with honors, magna cum laude. David Gregory Sloan. John Bradford Smith, summa cum laude. Joshua Bain Smith. Madeline Grace Smith, cum laude. Alyssa Cecilia Snodgrass. Trinity Marie Sandra Statz, cum laude. Noah William Steiner. Star Staltenstel Stemble, summa cum laude. Jeffrey Todd Stevens Jr. Tyler Andrew Stevenson, summa cum laude. Haley Brianne Stewart. Benjamin Isaiah Stillwell. Caitlin Lauren Strickland. Katrina Marie McDonald Stryker. Chase Alexander Sumners, in absentia. Leah Marie Swan. Raymond Mark Sweat IV. Ariel Lynn Natsuko Taylor. Denver Calvin Teams, cum laude, diploma presented by his mother, Elise Curry Tucker, 7th and 8th grade teacher, Berry College Elementary and Middle School. Charles David Tu, magna cum laude. Lauren Alexis Tu, with honors, magna cum laude. Devin Lee Thomas. Ansley Kate Thompson, magna cum laude. Sarah Grace Thompson, summa cum laude. Grace Elizabeth Titley, with honors. Matthew Joshua Trapp, in absentia. Emily Danielle Trion. Juan Jose Valencia. Faith Emily Van Ringen, cum laude. Colleen Ann Visser, cum laude. Stephen Paul Vodopek, cum laude. Carrington Ansley Wagner, cum laude. Khalil Akeem Walker. James Joseph Wallace Jr. Lily Rebecca Walston, cum laude. William Meeks Warbington, cum laude. Raven Shanice Washington, with honors, magna cum laude. Lily Claire Watson, cum laude. Nathan Smith Weaver, diploma presented by his mother, Amy Weaver, lead teacher at the Child Development Center. Rebecca Nicole Weaver. Chloe Tierra Wajinka, summa cum laude. Natalie Ember Wegner, magna cum laude. Jacob Timothy Whitecamp, with honors, magna cum laude. Eileen Emily Whelan, cum laude. Robin Janae Whitehead, magna cum laude. Abigail Renner Whitlock. Charlotte Marie Whitmer, cum laude. Savannah Lynn Weitzel, with honors, summa cum laude. Peyton Fredericks Wilbanks. Matthew Parker Wilkinson, magna cum laude. Brian Augustin Williams. Kyle Stephen Williams. Ryan Thomas Williams, in absentia. Colton Andrew Wilson, magna cum laude. Jordan Isaiah Wilson. Kelvin Dion Wilson. Thomas Patrick Wilson, in absentia. Abigail Thorpe Wiseman. Mackenzie Chase Wismer. Jansen Alexander Witcher. Sarah Helen Yance. Bowden Josiah Young, summa cum laude. Avery McCoy Zampati. Carly Nicole Zay. Michael Zhu. Before I take my seat and catch my breath, I want to just invite all of the guests and faculty and staff to join their graduate at a reception table, which are divided by schools, over on the field to my right. So the platform party will recess after the alma mater, followed by the faculty, and then the graduates. The graduates will go over. There are 3 different gates to exit. Each one is marked by your school, and then please head to the table for refreshments, also with a giant flag for your school, and that's where you will meet your guests. Congratulations to all of the graduates.
Good morning. Board of Trustees, President Briggs, faculty and staff, family members, friends, and students. It is with great honor that I come today representing the Alumni Association and to extend our congratulations to each of you on your graduation from Berry. Your accomplishment did not come without your hard work, determination, self-discipline, and the support of family and friends. In the book, 100 Years of Service, the Berry Alumni Association, 1908 to 2008, author Weta Ward-Dickey documents the history of the Berry College Alumni Association since its establishment in 1908. In 1909, Clayton Henson, Berry's first graduate and original president of the Alumni Society of the Berry School, spoke on the duty of the alumni to the school, which focused on, among other things, ways that alumni could, and I quote, aid Miss Berry and her associates and her successors in carrying out the work of the school. Today, we have the Alumni Association, which serves to promote and foster a mutually beneficial and indispensable relationship between Berry and its alumni. Our mission is to align the work of the association with Berry's strategic plan to provide opportunities for alumni to connect through meaningful association programs and activities, and to create and sustain a vibrant alumni community. I want to welcome you to the Alumni Association. You are now a member, and again, congratulations on your graduation.
Please rise for a benediction. Receive this benediction as a promise and blessing from the Lord. May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord grant you his favor and peace now and always. Amen. Let's remain standing to sing our alma mater.